Hi there, I'm Dan Weedin, and it looks like we're going live. Looks like about a minute early, so I will probably edit this part out when I get to it and give everybody a chance to come on in. We're about a minute away, so I will wait just a little bit. Excuse me. There we go, 12 o'clock. Why don't we start all over again? Hi, I'm Dan Weedin. Welcome to my August 4th, 2014 edition of Weedin Unleashed. This is my weekly Google on-air hangout where you get a chance to come over and watch me live and in person, ask some questions. We're going to discuss the topic of my extra points that comes out every Monday morning. Excuse me, every Monday morning. As you can see, this is a live event. I only take care of the beginning and the ending a little bit as far as editing. Everything in between is as you see it. Thank you to those of you who are watching live. I know we get several viewers that come in after the fact on my YouTube channel and watch it. You are welcome as well. So thank you for becoming a regular watcher of this video. Quick ground rules. Again, we're going to go about somewhere between 15 minutes and a half an hour. I forgot to get this set up. See what happens. I'm downloading the app for the questions. The questions just popped up. Hopefully, some of you will be able to see that and be able to ask any questions or answer any questions that I have of you. So let's go ahead and get started on today's topic. It's called Running to Empty. Back in the 70s, maybe it was even the early 80s, Jackson Browne had a famous hit called Running on Empty. I remember being in junior high and high school and loving that song. Great song, very popular. And it was even more popularized in 1994, I guess, when Forrest Gump came out. They played Running on Empty as Forrest was running coast to coast in his jogging that he was doing across the country. So that that famous song got me thinking a little bit after this weekend when I watched the NFL, or I should say the Pro Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I've been there before to watch Cortez Kennedy get inducted. That was 2 years ago. And this year, Walter Jones, maybe one of the best Seahawk players, definitely one of the best Seahawk players of all time, was inducted, and so I watched. And I actually enjoy watching all of the inductees because their speeches usually are very relevant to me in some way. And there was one of the inductees, a guy by the name of Aeneas Williams. Aeneas Williams played for the Arizona Cardinals, and he also played for the St. Louis Rams in his career, which put him into Canton. And he gave a very impassioned speech, and one that I thought really resonated with me. He said, and I'm paraphrasing Mr. Williams, but he basically said that the greatest wealth is not found at Fort Knox or in banks or in investment bankings or in buildings or any place like that. The greatest wealth is found in cemeteries. He believes that his theory is that there's so many people who have come and gone on this earth and didn't empty out their talent, their skill, and what they had to give to the world. I think he's probably right. I mean, as I write a lot and do some video and talk a lot about being unleashed, it's the same concept. What Mr. Williams was talking about is that you have to leave this world empty, giving everything you've got, maximizing your skill, maximizing your talent, and maximizing what you can give back to the world. And so that really resonated with me as I started thinking about what I want to write and talk about this week, because it's so similar. In fact, it's identical to what I talk about being unleashed. What are you doing right now, wherever you are in life, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s like myself, or older? I can still say that for a few more months, so I'm taking advantage of that. But where are you in your life as you run too empty? Jackson Brown has a song "Running on Empty." I kind of liked "Running Too Empty" because what Mr. Williams was talking about was when your time here on this earth is done, and none of us know when that is going to be for us. Have you emptied out everything? Have you emptied out your skill and talent on this world? So I thought, well, I got to look at myself and say, if something happened to me today where I didn't get it tomorrow, could I say I've left everything? Could I say I've emptied myself? I don't know if I could. For as much as I talk and write about it, I think I may have some work still to do in that regard. So that's the question I throw out to you today. I know it looks like I've got several viewers out today. Thank you for joining us again. You'll see on the right-hand side questions. This is a great time to start asking questions. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the topic, and then I'm going to throw out a question to all of you. But again, where are you in how you are emptying yourself? I think each one of us, if we're very candid with each other, realize we've got more, that there are things that are holding us back from doing it. And I'm going to touch on 3 of those right now. And actually what they are there are methods to unleash, become empty, in Mr. Williams' word. There are ways to find that catalyst to become maximized on everything that we do and how we're living and all of that. My Alan Weiss, who's my professional mentor, talks about that type of concept all the time, that we only come around this way once, and that where we are today, we've got to be in the moment and take most advantage of today. So I'm asking you where you are today, and let's talk about some things that you might consider doing to make tomorrow and the day after and those days after even better. So here we go. Number 1, seek help. Each one of the 7 people who were inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, each one of them took a special time to say, we didn't get here by ourselves. We didn't end up at the highest pinnacle of professional football just on our own skill and talent level. We had that pushed for us. We had help along the way, and they all usually started out, I thought the common denominator was mom, each one of them, because some of them had dads that weren't part of the picture, but mom always was, and so I thought that was kind of neat. Mom was always at the forefront. Many of the dads were. Family members, spouses and kids. And then many of them went back to high school football, and the coaches, and some of the coaches from their high school and college and professional days were in the audience. They were their guests. So they continually talked about the people who helped them along the way. Well, who's helping you right now in your business, in your career? You have colleagues, you have peers, you have people that you work with, you have clients, but are they really there to help you? I know that my career took a considerable turn when I started maximizing that, being part of Alan's community of consultants, and I still avail myself of all of that wisdom today. I go on into the forums every day and read about what some of the challenges and some of the solutions that my colleagues across the world are dealing with, and I get help when I need it. Am I maximizing that? Probably not. I could probably do more. And one of the things that came out of this for me was I probably should be doing that. So seek help. If you don't have a coach, if you don't have a mentor, if you don't have an accountability partner, if you don't have somebody who's really going to be tough on you and help you to stay on track, to be focused, to be in the moment, as well as giving you some strategies and tactics on ways that you can improve yourself and your business, you need to get one. So that was number 1, seek help. Number 2, this is not very easy either. It's get rid of fear of rejection or fear of failure. I think that a lot of that wealth that's left underground in the cemeteries remained there because of fear of rejection or fear of failure. That is an area that I think all of us struggle with at times, some more than others. But the reality is if you are going to really maximize your time here on earth, both professionally and personally, you've got to overcome that fear. For those of you watching this, you probably are not in a situation where you have to worry about your home or your food or where there's many of the people in this world who are struggling just to survive. If you're watching this, it's probably not you. So everything that you're doing in your work isn't going to prove to be fatal. And so go out there and risk. Try different things. If you fail, that's okay. Learn from it. My guess is that some of our biggest failures have been some of our best teachers. We should embrace that at some level. And so I know that's counterintuitive to what many of us think. I can tell you that even just in the past 9 years of my work in consulting, I've had many failures, and I've learned from them, and I'm going to continue to as I go through that. But if you have fear of even trying, you're not going to get to that level that you want to. And then number 3 is to persevere. There's the famous line that allegedly Cortez said when he landed in the New World, that he burned the boats. He said, we're going to live or die here. We're going to plant our stake here in this new world because we're not going back to Spain, and the best way to make sure that doesn't happen is to burn the boats. So they had to persevere. They had to be committed, and that can be hard too. We're all going to go through ups and downs in our business, in our life, in our career, with our family and friends. That's part of living. And if I'm at the point in my life that I've seen a lot of ups and downs. And in fact, this weekend, as I noted in Extra Points, one of the things that impacted me, along with Mr. Williams' speech, was I attended the funeral of a family friend, a beloved family friend, a great guy. He's 86 years old, lived a great long life, but had struggled with cancer the last few years and passed away. Excuse me, it's my allergies hitting me a little bit. So that was really a tough time to watch our friends who really adored this man really have to go through that. It's a tough time for them. They'll persevere. Then the next day I went to a celebration of a 100-year birthday party. That's somebody who's persevered over a century. That was really cool. And so you see both sides of that. So perseverance is important. And really the way that you persevere is how you deal with your self-worth and your self-confidence in yourself and your belief in yourself, and by trying different things and really working hard and smart to get out of it. These 3 all go together. How do you persevere? How do you work harder and smarter and better? Well, you get a coach. You get somebody to help you along the way. You make sure that you're asking your coach or mentor, accountability partner, where can you get some help? I have 2 of those. I've got a coach and mentor, and I've got an accountability partner that help me all the time. Fear of failure, we've got to try some things. We've got to really work hard at finding the thing that we love to do, what we're best at doing, and then going out and putting that, manifesting it into a way that we can help people, and give it a try. And don't worry about fear, failure, rejection, any of that. And then number 3, persevere. So I'm going to throw it out to you. I've been babbling on here for just about 15 minutes. If you have a question, I see some people are out there, great. You might be just listening, or you might be on your desktop. And if you're watching this later, feel free to email me at dan@danweedin.com. I'm happy to answer any questions that come out of this video. But what are some of your thoughts? What are some of your responses? What are some of your questions to what I've been talking about regarding running to empty? Do you have some examples? Do you have some questions? I'm going to ask you to go ahead and throw those in there now. Maybe I'll give you something to. Oh, here we go. This is a good one from Dawn. Yes, but how much does a 100-year-old have left in her tank? I don't know, but having watched her, she seems to have a whole bunch in her tank left. She was very active. She was in her wheelchair. However, she was talking to everybody. She was actively engaged. And I think her favorite part of the afternoon was eating birthday cake, which right then and there, maybe it's all about eating more cake. I don't know. But she's got a lot of gas in her tank left, is my guess. And so it's a great inspiration to all of us, because you know what? We may get there. As technology and medicine improve, we may get there. So we'll keep holding on to that. So what are one of the things that you have found that keeps you from maximizing, from emptying your tank? For me, I think out of those three, I think even today, the fear of failure, rejection still pops up, and there are things that I haven't tried for that fear, and those are things that I continually work to overcome with my coach and accountability partner, because the people that I coach, I tell them to do that, so I've got to practice what I preach. So that is something I've improved dramatically over in the last 5 years since working with Alan, but it's still something I struggle with. Dave wrote. Dave is a great colleague of mine. We do a lot of work with Alan together, and he said, talk about Alan's thoughts of people breathing their own exhaust. Dave, thank you. I'll do that. And this relates to having other people help you along the way. For any of you who have traveled, and many of you out there have probably been on an airplane, you know that one of the things that gets talked about a lot at the beginning is the flight attendant will say, hey, if we have a loss of cabin pressure, these oxygen masks will come down, and you put yours on first before you help somebody else. And so that is one of the examples Alan gives of you've got to help yourself first before you can help others. And I think helping others is part of emptying your tank. That's the reason I bring that up. The other is that Dave points out is breathing your own exhaust. Think about this. If you are in your garage with your car and you turn your car on, okay? By the way, no gas mask or an oxygen mask comes down there. You turn your car on, what's going to happen? You start breathing your own exhaust. You know what happens if you do that for too long. You expire. The same is true in business. If you in your own business and in your own life close that garage door and turn the car on, you're going to end up running out of oxygen, and the carbon monoxide will take over. So that's what happens when you breathe your own exhaust. It's bad news. So whether you are looking to try to help others, in order to do that, you've got to help yourself first, or whether you're breathing your own exhaust, which means you're only talking to yourself. You're not talking to others. You're not getting ideas from others. You're not bouncing things off others and taking that input. You breathe your own exhaust, you end up dying. I think, Dave, thanks for that. I think I'm going to actually use that on my next blog here. By the way, if you're not following me on my blog, that's something you should be doing. I hope that you'll consider it. Weedin360.com, Weedin, the number's 360.com. I'm going to blog about that one, I think, and have it out for tomorrow, along with this video as well. So Dave, thanks for sharing that. Don, thanks for sharing yours. I know we've got some other folks out there still. If you have any questions or comments, this is the time to join in. This is the time to be interactive with us. While you might do that, I will also mention this is weekly. I'm going to be here every week, unless I'm traveling, because I haven't figured out the travel part of that yet. But I'm going to be here next week, noon Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern, all times in between. I'll have a new topic next week that I'll be talking about. My blog is at Weedin360.com. I encourage you to subscribe to that. It is free. If you're not getting my extra points on a weekly basis on Monday mornings, you can go to my website at danweedin.com and subscribe there, or simply send me an email at dan@danweedin.com, and I'll get you on board for that as well. So some final thoughts as we move into the conclusion of this week's episode of Weedin Unleashed. Your goal, my goal, our goal should be to continually not run on empty, because that ends up meaning you're dry. You end up running out of gas, and that's no good. It's kind of what Don mentioned, having gas in your tank still. Shouldn't be running on empty. You should be running to empty. Running to empty yourself of everything that you have to give. That's your talents, your skills, what you have to give to others, your love for others, your family and your friends and your colleagues and everybody that you're working with. You'd like somebody at probably eulogizing you, saying that person, she gave everything that she had of herself to others, and that was highly successful. You want to be in the grave on empty. In fact, it reminds me of a great quote by Oscar Wilde, one of probably my favorite guy to quote, even more than Mark Twain. Oscar Wilde once said, if you end up with more than $10,000 in the bank when you die, you left money on the table. I think that's kind of a cool quote. Anyway, so we're working on running to empty. How do we do that? Number one is we seek help when we need it. And I see another post come up, so let me jump to that before I give you my three. This came from Don. Don, thank you. One of my big lessons is enjoying the process. I tend to be result-oriented, and I don't feel, quote-unquote, successful if I haven't actually gotten a result. I need to realize that there's a lot to be gained from enjoying the sights along the path. Really well said. Something along the lines of smelling the roses or the coffee or things like that along the way. It's the journey, and you know, you bring up a great point. It's about success, not perfection. It's about enjoying that time that you're never going to get back again. This August 4th, 2014, for all of us, will come and go in the next about 12 hours, at least on Pacific time zone. You're not going to get that time again back with your family, with your friends, and in your business. And so enjoy the process. The results will come. If you enjoy the process, that is contagious, and it will have great results for you. Don, thank you for sharing that. I think it's a great segue into my final comments. So number one, seek help. Enjoy that process. The people that you work with, the people that you trust that will help give you advice. I can tell you, at least in my experience in coaching and mentoring others, I've learned as much, probably I've learned more, I think, than they have from me, because you're always learning from others, and you're always learning when you're helping others to advance, and I know you'll find that for you as well. Get rid of the fear of failure and rejection. It's never fatal. And you can always learn. In fact, the process, as Don just mentioned, the process of failure can be something that you can actually enjoy, because you know that you've learned something, and that's part of that process. So thank you again for sharing that. I think it dovetails nicely into the fear of rejection and failure. And then finally, persevere. Burn the boats if you have to, but persevere. Because that's part of what we do here in life. It's making sure that we reach our goals and attain them, and knowing that it's not an easy road. There's speed bumps and a whole lot of other traps along the way. But if we keep on working hard, and actually I hate using the word working hard, if we keep on working smarter, if we keep on learning from our mistakes and trying new things, we're going to get there much faster, and we're going to continually actually feed our tank so that we have more to live, especially if we get to that 100-year-old mark. Let me see if I have anything else from anybody. Nope, that looks like it's it. We are into this just about 25 minutes. Had a lot of viewers today. Thank you to all of you. And again, thanks to those who come in later. That's okay. I've noticed we've been getting some views on these, so thank you. Keep doing that. I'll invite you to come back again next week. And thank you for the questions and the comments. That's what makes this a lot of fun. I can only speak for so long, or else I'm breathing my own exhaust. So thank you for being part of this process. That's all for today. I will look forward to seeing each and every one of you next Monday, August the 11th, and we'll have another edition of Weedin Unleashed. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day and go empty your tank for this day. And we'll see you next week. Ciao.